Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Friday Drinks, brought to you courtesy of Pilsner. We're out here at the Zimbabwe Open, and it's a fantastic day, and we're making new friends. We've just met Toto, who's one of the golfers playing out. How was your game today?
My game was good. I played well. I shot 72. So I played very well, and the greens were very bumpy in the afternoon. So it's a quite tricky course to play. It's not easy, but yeah, I enjoy myself.
And is this your first time in Zimbabwe?
It's my 15th year.
You've been playing this every year for the last 15?
I've been playing, yeah. So
wow, fantastic!
It feels like home now.
Okay, awesome. And what's your view of our country for the most part?
To be honest with you, I love this country. I love the people are very friendly. Well, the course is not friendly, but the people are friendly, so I can relate to that. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful country. The course, it's beautiful. People are very phenomenal. They're very nice, very friendly, welcoming. And so, yeah, I'm enjoying myself. And obviously, I just had a beer now. So
yeah. Cheers. Yeah. This is a golden moment.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to our sponsor, Pilsner, for making it happen. Tinashe, have you ever been a golfer?
Have you ever been? No. Actually, I've never played golf my entire life. Growing up, I always associated golf with, as an old man's sport. And unfortunately, I'm now old, but I've never picked up the habit.
Okay, yeah, I did play for a minute. In the early days of my stockbroking career, I was told that all the whales are golfers. So if you want to trade for them, you need to network and interact on the golf course, and I did for a couple of years, but it wasn't for me. But I still enjoy the crowd in the clubhouses. They call it the 19th hole, where the golfers get together after a round, and they just have drinks and interact. So how did you get into golf? I understand you're a professional golfer.
Yeah, I'm a professional golfer. So my dad is the one who introduced me to the sport. And so I played junior golf in South Africa. Then I went to the NEL's Foundation, and that's where the whole thing just changed.
Okay.
I think he's the one who inspired us to really play golf and take it to the next level of pro. So, we played junior golf in America, and that's where everything started. And when I turned pro in 2008, and I went to stay in Asia for 2 years, and and that's how my life started.
Well, that's pretty serious. Can one actually make a living as a professional golfer?
You can. I've made a decent living out of this game.
Well, you don't look too shabby.
Yeah, I've made. I've won 5 times on Sunshine Tour. So, yeah, I've played well. I've won. It's not easy to win tournaments, but you just have to keep on trying. I think the whole message is to inspire the generation that's coming. Make an impact. Golf, it's about paving the road for other kids who's coming and everything. And so I hope this message can change other people's life and everything, and make an impact in their life. And I don't want to be a hero, I just want to become an inspiration to the young kids.
Oh, fantastic.
So there's this association between the sport of golf and leadership. So whether if you think about today on the global stage, American presidents, Trump, Obama, Clinton, they were all passionate golfers. I think across the corporate world, you find a lot of successful business leaders are avid golfers. Is there something about golf that makes it more, attractive to business leaders and leaders across the board? What do you think about the game draws that particular demographic of leadership?
I think we have one thing in common. We're very competitive. Leaders, sportsmen, we're very competitive. I mean, if you look at Donald Trump, Obama, and everything, they're very competitive. Whether they're playing golf, they're on the, it's. We have similar things. Obviously, I can't be a president, but I can be a golfer.
Maybe you can.
No.
It's possible.
Believe me, I don't want to be a
Stranger things
president.
have happened.
I don't want to be a president.
Yeah.
I don't want to rule the country, but I mean, there's something that God has given me this talent to go out there and play golf and make a living out of that. And similar with Donald Trump, he was given that opportunity to become a wealthy businessman and lead the world, but he can't turn pro. He can't turn pro, but he can play golf for fun, to interact with other business people and everything. But I mean, yeah, that's how I look at it.
So that actually begs the question: what does it take to actually be a professional golfer? Is it skill? Is it talent? Is it a mean short? Or
I don't think it's skill. It's. I think it has to go with talent. You have to be passionate about it. You have to be driven by certain things. I don't think it's skills. There's so many guys who are skilled without turning pro, and it's just. I think it's a calling. It's like being a priest. Not everyone can be a priest, but everyone can preach. Golf it's like that. That's why there's amateur golfers and there's professional golfers. Everyone can. I mean, I've met amateur golfers who play single, and then I've met professional golfers who's doing well and everything. So I think it's a calling for me. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic!
And to many of our fans, or in our audience who actually play golf, what tips would you have for them if they just want to have a better time out on the course? From a professional's perspective, what could the amateur golfers out there watching us have this conversation pick up from you that would help their game?
Keep the ball in play. Keep the ball in play and everything, and just have fun, man. There's golf. It's a game of golf. It's not a work of golf. So a lot of people want to work hard on golf and everything. Enjoy it, embrace it, have fun and everything. I enjoy golf. Whether I play bad and everything doesn't change who I am and everything. I'm grateful that I can do this again, and was out for 3 months. I had a wrist injury, and it's something that every time when I enter a golf course, I'm looking forward to. I'm very excited to meet new people. Like right now, I'm being interviewed by you guys and everything. So this is the joy that I get, and you travel the world, you meet different people. You learn from them. You learn different cultures from people. So I think that's the beautiful thing about golf. You travel the world and you learn a lot of cultures of people, and then it makes us grow as people, as human.
Oh no, fantastic! So they say that to understand or to know somebody, you just need one round of golf game, and you understand whether they're a cheat or not, or where they stand on ethics, and whether they're aggressive or not, or competitive or not. Is that something that you picked up on?
Yes.
That you can tell someone's character by just playing a round of golf
for sure.
with them.
I mean, you can tell by the way they talk to you, by the way they interact with certain players, especially with caddies. I think you pick up with when they're talking to the caddies. It's different. I think people respect valuable people. They don't care whether the guys and everything. So I think we're living in a world. We need to practice empathy. We need to empathize with people. We need to understand where they're going, where they come from, and everything. And we can't change the world, but we can make a difference in other people's life by just sit down and understand where they come from and everything. And with golf, you can pick up that. You can pick up that guys are very judgmental. They judge people. They do certain things. So yeah.
Okay. And where do you see the game of golf going, especially in Africa and globally?
In Africa, it's growing. I've been all over African countries, especially the same. It's growing. The crowd is phenomenal. Everyone comes and everything. I think we need to teach everyone to come and watch the game of golf and everything. It's not the lifestyle, but it's what makes us great. You know, I mean, just to be in the field and competing with all the white guys and everything, it's an achievement for us. You know, just to, I mean, there's how many guys? 151 guys who are competing this week, and look at the black guys who are competing. I mean, we are 30, so you have to give us credit for
Absolutely.
for us to be on the field and competing with white guys and everything. We underprivileged, but we managed to go out there and compete with them. You know, with our disadvantage of everything, but we still managed to play and keep our head down and everything. The only thing that we need it's help from you guys, you know, sponsors and your support, and then the rest is history.
Well, I you know, from a Zimbabwean perspective, I think that you know, one of the sports that definitely benefits significantly from corporate patronship and sponsors is golf, because a lot of the guys running our biggest companies are actually themselves avid golfers. So, you know, I think, you know, certainly I think the corporate energy is what's driven people into the golfing world in our country. And I suspect that the same is true in South Africa.
Yeah.
How accessible is golf to the less privileged in that part of the world?
Well, in South Africa, it's different. You know, we have that support from people. There's Golf Foundation and everything, so it's quite huge in South Africa and everything. But like I said, I can't speak for other countries. I don't know how it is in Zimbabwe and everything. But you know, I'm from South Africa, so it's different. We have there's people will help you to come and play, and who has the best interest in you and everything. So it's different compared to African countries and going to South Africa and everything.
And you've traveled around the world. Maybe we can just start with South Africa. Which course do you think is the best course in South Africa and also around the world, and also resorts that you've been to? Like, I particularly like Neisner. I mean, I'm not a golfer, but I imagine that playing in Neisner, that's beautiful. I don't know what the course is like, but
I think
that's your view.
One of the best courses in South Africa is Gary Player. And in
He did Blair Athol.
There's Blair Athol.
Where is that in South Africa?
In Joburg.
In Joburg.
Blair Athol is in Joburg.
Gary Player.
Gary Player is in Northwest, which is still it's like 2-hour drive from Joburg and everything.
Okay.
That's a beautiful course. And then
That's the longest in South Africa as well, right?
the longest is Blair Athol. It's the
Yeah.
longest, and I might not be correctly, but I think it's the longest. Yeah. And in America, Pebble Beach is one of the best.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds like it's on one of the coasts. Is it in Miami or
Florida.
on the west? Oh, okay, Florida. Yeah.
So it's one of the best courses I've ever played, and Sawgrass. You know, so yeah, there's beautiful courses in America that you can play and everything. But I'm gonna be honest with you.
Which one do you enjoy playing?
What's your favorite?
I enjoy playing Gary Player, to be honest with you. It's very challenging. It's very tricky. We've got a beautiful course called Leopard Creek in Nelspruit called Malelane. Which it's a beautiful course.
That's in Mpumalanga.
In Mpumalanga. That's
Yeah.
one of the best courses you want to play. You want to go out there. It's
I
next
suppose the drive is beautiful as well.
exactly. It's next to Kruger National Park and everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
just go there and enjoy yourself. But I mean, to be honest with you, I think Royal Harare is one of the best courses I've ever played. You know,
Really?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
old traditional
encouraging.
course and everything. You have to think. You have to, you know, play your best golf and everything. And I enjoy coming here every year.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good to hear.
fantastic.
Good to hear.
Thank you so much for the kind words. And are you? Today's Friday, so are you still in contention?
Sure. I'll see what time am I playing tomorrow and everything. So yeah.
No, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you to Golden Pilsner for making it happen. Cheers, and
cheers.
all the best of luck over the next couple of days.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
What
it was
a pleasure.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Friday Drinks. We're out here at the Zimbabwe Open, courtesy of Golden Pilsner, which is delivering refreshment and golden moments for us. We're making new friends here, and I'm sitting with Chris and Brandon, who are both professional golfers.
Correct.
And out here for the tournament. So how was your game today?
Yeah, no, I struggled today a bit. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things. It's golf. It happens. It happens to the best of people. You just got to live and learn from it. But other than that, if you put how I played aside, the golf course is unreal. The greens are phenomenal. It's probably one of the better. They probably are the best greens that we play on tour. A couple of other greens are very good, but these are just really, really good. The course is very penalising, which I think is very fair. So you hit good shots, you get rewarded. Hit bad shots, you get punished. And then the layout of the golf course is really good. Really, really enjoy it. So, fortunately, didn't play well enough for the first 2 rounds. Such is life. Got to live and learn.
Absolutely.
And then just got to learn from it, and then move on, and then find where the areas were, work on those, find the positives, and then see what happens from there.
Fantastic. And you're from South Africa?
I am,
and
yes.
how are you enjoying Zimbabwe so far?
Love it. The climate is so similar to South Africa, as I mentioned to you earlier. So we kind of know what weather we're going to get. And then, just everything around it's a lot of fun. The people are so friendly here. I've said it to 1,000 people by now, but you guys are very friendly and very welcoming. The tournament is set up very well with all the grandstand tents and everything. You don't get it too often on the tour, unfortunately, but make the most of it whilst it's here and just enjoy every moment of it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this. Brandon, how's it going? How was your day on the course?
I struggled today, but got it around the course. So I played okay. I made cut, so I get to spend 2 more days here. I played here last year. I loved it. This golf course is probably the best we play all year, unless that co-sanctioned. But yeah, this is probably the best Sunshine Tour event we play all year. Just the hospitality in this place as well. We get to do this, for example. You don't get that anywhere else. So to share our experience with locals, people that maybe not understand the game, it's nice as well. You see the kids here. A lot of kids come up, ask for golf balls. Remember last year, me and Chris, we actually spent probably a couple of hours with kids on the putting green after the final round. You just don't get that in other events, and it's quite humbling coming from where I live to come here. I really enjoy it.
You sound like you live on the other side of the equator, where the weather isn't as lovely as it is here. So are you enjoying Zimbabwe's climate?
Yeah, so I've pretty much been living in South Africa for probably 18 months now.
Oh, okay.
Just through Sunshine Tour. I don't want to go home. Especially it is the weather. Like England, nah, you get about 3
Can't play
months
golf every day in England, can you?
Nah, it's not great. And then you come to places like
you
this.
literally have rain checks often.
I remember the first time I come out here, the guy's going, "Yeah, we're in winter," and I was like, "Okay, winter." 22 degrees. I'm like, "Oh, you guys must really suffer out here."
Absolutely,
it is different. The fact you can play golf all year round is very beneficial for me.
Fantastic. So how did you get into golf and turn pro?
So I got into golf, I want to say at the age of about 5 or 6, somewhere around there. I got a set of little Tiger golf clubs. Remember, I think they're the blue ones, if I'm correct.
Wow.
And I just hit a golf ball around and everything. And then I think it was when I was in grade 10, I started to play a bit more competitive golf, and then from there I just grew my game, tightened up on a couple of things, and just been plugging away at it. And I've just really enjoyed the sport. I find it's one of the most satisfying yet frustrating sports at the same time. But just the people you can meet through it and the things you can experience, as Brandon said, we don't get to experience this kind of stuff. You just get to meet people, experience new things, see different places. Where if you have a corporate job, you go in the same building every day, pretty much. We're going different places every single day. So you're going to meet new people, see different places, and just experience different things that other people don't get to experience, which I absolutely love it. So, yeah.
So my suspicion as a non-golfer, but as a person involved in the world of business and entrepreneurship, is that the reason why it's so attractive to leaders in business is, you get this casual stroll, from hole to hole, where whether you're paired or in a four ball, you're having a conversation with, your friends or peers in a setting away from home or the office. It's kind of relaxed, and you get to network in a way that's that's satisfying. That's my best guess in as to why golf is so popular amongst business leaders and executives. So when you play it professionally, does that aspect of the game go away because like it really matters how you score, how well you hit the ball, and you're much more focused than relaxed?
I'd say sorry to interrupt you there. I'd say to like a certain extent, just because you by yourself when you're hitting the ball and working out your shots, whatever you need to hit, but then you've got to walk 2-3 minutes down the fairway.
Sure.
You can chat for 2 or 3 minutes, whereas in a rugby field you don't get to chat, or
No,
a soccer
there's
field
no-
you
there's
don't
not
get
much
to
chatting
chat.
going on, for sure.
Whereas that's where the networking comes in, and it's such a sociable sport. Because being on the golf course is always a bad day on the golf course is always better than a bad day behind a laptop.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you can always just have fun. Well, we try to have fun as much as possible. You got to be serious at times, but if you're playing in a social setting, whatever the case may be, you've always got someone to talk to, all of that kind of stuff. I just think it's a very sociable sport where you can interlink and meet and, as you say, network with different people.
From a professional point of view, though, it is individual. Like, there'll be some people that probably need to chat and socialise on a golf course, me being one of them.
Okay.
Like,
That's your nature, you're an extrovert?
Yeah, I really struggle. I mean, I can't normally keep quiet anyway. I talk. You're saying that.
And you're the one not having a beer.
You've got a bit of verbal diarrhea more often than not.
But no, generally I need to talk. It actually relaxes me. So
Okay.
I'm very social. Everyone will have parts in a round where you can tell that they're not. Just leave them. But most of the time for me, I'm trying to be social. But then there'll be people that don't want to talk in a round, and
People will get very serious and
yeah, and that's absolutely fine. Everyone's different. When it comes to what you were saying from a business point of view, I've had to do quite a few, like, companies have invited a professional golfer out into the world, and them days it's just all chatting, because you'll get to know them, they get to know you, you're doing something you both love, because most people love golf. Like, any people, like, it's so addicting. The minute you start playing golf, because it's got a handicap system, you're always trying to get better. Everyone loves golf, and if you're doing that from a work point of view, you're working that day, but you're actually playing golf.
Yep.
You enjoy it. You have to socialise as well. But yeah, like you say, world leaders. I mean, Donald Trump plays every day. Like,
Yep.
yeah, he loves golf. He's competitive as well. I think everyone is competitive. I can't imagine any player that plays golf, even if they're a 28 handicap, they're all going to be competitive, but they enjoy it because when you're out in the sun,
Yep.
it's better than being indoors. It's
Absolutely.
Just
I mean,
a
it's
nice
just-
environment.
It's just it's green. Typically, you're playing on a bright sunny day, and you're casually strolling, and for the most part, you're with people who are
Yeah.
amicable and interesting. So I get the appeal, just from the relaxation and the networking point of view. Do you think that some people take it too seriously, though?
Once again, it's individually. It's like,
Yeah.
some people they want to just get better at the game, so they take it seriously. It doesn't bother me. That's that individual. You'll get some people that are just, you might not want to actually play golf for them, but does that make them like a bad person or something like that?
Yeah,
That's just them. They just want to get better. Like it.
And over, you guys have been playing for a bunch of years.
Too many.
Well, because from a non-golfer's perspective, there is a certain stuffiness associated with the culture. Like when you're in a clubhouse, you can't wear your cap, and there's all this etiquette and these rules, and just generally across the board, maybe 20-30 years ago, like all the bankers you are guaranteed would be in a suit and tie, prim and proper, but today you can have a serious meeting with a banker and they're not wearing a tie, they're not necessarily wearing a suit. The world is kind of relaxed. Where's the culture in golf? Has it also evolved like everything else, or it's still very stiff
Yeah.
and
It's going the same
prim
way.
and proper?
No,
yeah,
but
joke on there.
there is golf courses. I haven't found them in Africa yet, but it's very like in England. There's golf courses where the rules are what they were probably from 1930. But most golf courses now, even in England, they're changing.
So they're relaxed. They're not uptight
Well, you're just
about all
getting,
I
these.
think COVID helped.
Okay.
I know it sounds bad. But COVID
It does sound
sounds
bad.
awful. But like COVID, because I remember memberships in England at golf course, you couldn't get into a golf course.
Okay.
So then it would attract every type of human being at the time. So people that didn't know the rules, didn't know the etiquette, people that dressed not what you would associate with golf. But now it's getting more relaxed. I mean, over the last few years, you see more hoodies. I know it sounds...
Oh, you got speakers on carts and
Live
like golf
well,
is meant
yeah.
to be a quiet sport. And all of a
Yes.
sudden you got speakers on carts, as Brandon says, live golf. You got speakers pumping music all the time and everything. So I think
So it has
it
gotten a little bit more relaxed in some
to a certain extent,
clubs, in
yes.
some
yeah, no, 100%. And
institutions
it's just
It had to, though, because...
yeah, no, it's just all too. What's the word? Like kind of like straightforward and like to by the rules. And I get there's rules and all that kind of stuff and attire that you need to wear and etiquette and everything. But you're on a unless if it's outside of a tournament, you're on a social setting. It doesn't need to be serious the whole time, if you know what I mean. So, a bit of music here and there, I don't see anything wrong with it. I just think it creates a better vibe and an atmosphere.
This
for,
side of the
for
world
golf.
is definitely different with it, and I really hope that Europe and things like that follow that route, because golf should be fun. And when you go into a clubhouse, and I know it sounds stupid, and you get told to take your hat off or this and that, it used to be the rules,
It's
but
tradition.
Because I mean, I think we had the major at Augusta a few weeks ago, and and every time that that happens, you learn a little bit about the history of the club and its
100%,
traditions, and like it's very exclusive.
Yeah, it's like down to the T
you
with
can't
everything.
you can't apply for membership. They invite you.
Yeah.
And I think they only started admitting women a few years ago, and I think they only have 2 female members at.
I think it's 2 or 3 if I'm
Augusta.
correct. Yeah, it's something like that.
So you've got these really old, very conservative, very elite, exclusive institutions, and obviously they're the newer ones that are much more relaxed. And so what would you say to young people who are contemplating, postgraduate life in the work environment, and what would the appeal to them be, to become golfers or to take on golf?
Don't do it. No, I'm joking. It's just, it gets you out there. You don't sit on the couch or watch TV for hours on end. It's a bit of exercise, you outdoors. Just depending on where you are in the world, but just say we're in Zim or Africa, wherever the case may be, the climate's really good, as we chatted about it earlier. So you just get to go outdoors. You can socialize with your mates. You're not sitting on your phones all the time, as a lot of that happens these days. And just get into it. It can be such a social thing. You can build such good bonds between golf, because as Brandon even mentioned earlier, there's a handicap system. So it's probably the only sport where you can be any level of capability and compete against one another, and you can keep on pushing yourself to get better and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's one of the coolest sports in the world.
I also think with people that aren't necessarily playing golf, if you're just sitting behind a desk all day, I think you just let your body rot if you're not doing anything else.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, I see some 85, 90-year-old people back in England just playing golf still, because they've done it their whole
whole
lives.
lives.
You can't kick
And
a soccer ball around it.
I'm not saying it's 100% true, but it can't, you're probably going to live longer by being more active, and you can have fun. It's such a social thing. You're not getting into golf. I promise you now, the minute you start playing to a certain level, it's just so addicting, and you'll probably never stop.
Okay.
So that's for you. I'm talking at you.
Okay. Well, I used to play for a couple of years, and then maybe I'll revisit. The producers jumping up and down. This has been so much fun. The time just ran away from us. 15
minutes.
Brandon, Chris, thank you so much for doing this. And to the audience, I hope you picked up some interesting tidbits on the game. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Zim. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Buddy.
Thanks. That was a
Cheers.
pleasure.
Yeah. That was good fun, Brandon. Welcome to another episode of Friday Drinks. We're here at the Zimbabwe Open and we're being generously hosted by Pilsner, who are not only keeping us refreshed and recharged, but have put some interesting things on my cap, which my guests are going to help me explain. Rob, what exactly is this little gadget on my cap with a Pilsner logo? I've been told it's a ball marker, but what? But you're a golfer. Maybe you can unpack it for me. What exactly is this, and what does it do?
Okay, ichinechaniri kana wasvika green hour. Apo kana green hour. Patopedzera paive ndo patoshandisa this thing here.
Okay.
And chinonzi ball marker.
So basically, you mark your ball on the green with this.
It kind of reminds you. It reminds you of, you know, how far you really are to the hole. You know, if you want to clean your ball up, you use this to just like kind of give yourself an idea of how far you really did hit it to the hole. You know.
Okay, fantastic. MJ, thank you so much for doing this. I understand that you are currently number 1 on the leaderboard.
Of course, yes, yeah.
So you're playing quite well. You had a good day.
Yeah. Oh, it was my birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday and cheers.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
a golden moment. Courtesy
it was,
of Pilsner.
Robson's
Happy
also,
birthday to MJ. And
Me and
was your
Robson are
you guys were
brothers.
born on the same day and you're competing. I understand you're also doing quite well on the course as well. Did you have a great day today?
I had a good one today.
You had a good one. Okay, fantastic. And you're not joining us with the more interesting golden tipple. You want to be sharp.
No, I'll join you guys later.
You'll join us a little bit later. Okay, fantastic. And you're a local professional. That's correct. How long have you been playing, and how did you become a professional in our country? It's not because golf is seen as a sport for the elites and the privileged.
I've been playing for 12 years.
Okay, more than a decade. Wow, that's a long time.
I started playing when I was 2012 November. So I think that's 12 years, right? Yeah.
And what got you into golf, and how did you turn pro, apart from being talented?
Julius Macon is the one who introduced me to golf. He was a bishop to.
Oh, that's fantastic. We I recently read his book, and he talked about his passion for golf and all the different people that he helped. We hope to have him on the show if he's listening or if he's watching. You're definitely overdue for some time with us on our show. So he's the one who actually got you into golf and becoming a professional.
Yes.
Yeah, well, cheers to the good
Julius
doc.
Macon,
Yeah, fantastic. And you sound like you're from our neighbor South Africa.
Yes, yeah, I'm from
He's
South
a boy.
Africa, born and bred.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And
But me and Robson, we twins. We both born in Zimbabwe. I feel like my heart.
Oh, you were born in
pounds.
Zimbabwe?
Yeah. No, not really. I just feel like my heart pounds like I'm from Zimbabwe.
oh, awesome. And how did you get into golf and become a professional?
It's a good question. I think my grandfather was a keen golfer. My dad and his brother also loved golf, and since I was small, I was too scared to play rugby and cricket and all those things.
No, but you look like you could have been
I actually wanted to become a pilot, or not a pilot. I wanted to fly fighter jets. When I was about 16 years old.
You look like you could have been a scrum half. I was gonna say, yeah, that's
nah. They would have. I would have ran with the team, our opponents. Anyway, so I wanted to become a fighter jet pilot, and when I was 16, I got the papers to actually go over to the British Air Force to go and do training for it. And my mom just said, "No, you're not going." You know,
oh my gosh!
She wanted a little boy here at home, so I said, "Okay."
Yes, not in danger over violent skies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did my pilot's license. I'm a qualified pilot.
Okay,
also,
fantastic.
But, just passion, mostly. Yeah.
He also owns some planes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that your retirement plan to go commercial?
No. So me and my dad, we quite close to each other, and he also did his pilot's license at 56.
Wow.
He finished his license, and it keeps him healthy, it keeps him busy, and I just decided, if he's gonna do his license, I'm not gonna not fly. So we invested in a little plane at home.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's how hard is it to get a pilot's license? Like, how many? I understand it's a function of hours and a bunch of study.
I think getting pilot's license not that difficult, you know, for is recreational use the right word?
Yeah. If you're not putting anybody else in danger, if you're just flying yourself.
But I think if you want to do it for a living, and you want to do a commercial license, I think it takes some time. It could take you like 2 years, you know. It's like a proper study degree, if you want to put it that way.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. But it's nice. I mean, it's a nice thing to be able to do, you know.
Fantastic. And so this tournament happens annually. Does it typically, when was the last time it was won by a Zimbabwean?
I've got no clue. I
And
never did any researches about
how many times have you?
long time ago.
How many times have you participated in it? And are you in contention? Are you going to take this man out over the next 2 days? Come on, you're Zimbabwean. You're supposed to sound.
Why don't you tell him the story that happened at Sengiri on the Part 3 course? Come on, man.
No, actually,
We're pinning our hopes on you.
No, MJ is my senior, but yeah, we'll see how the week goes. But I'm feeling
You're feeling good? You're feeling bullish?
feeling good, hitting the ball, quite good. So I think by the time we get to Sunday, we'll be close to MJ. If he's not behind me, we'll be there on the 18th tee playing the playoffs.
I like it. You're sounding
Yeah.
bullish. You're sounding aggressive, and you know, to the young Zimbabweans in our audience who, you know, because I think a lot of Zimbabweans are intimidated by the game of golf. It has this aura of being expensive and elitist. It's not for everyone. What would you say to those, to young Zimbabweans in our audience who perhaps find the idea of engaging in this particular sport intimidating? You know, what have things changed over the years since you started playing? Is it more accessible? Is it easier to start out as a golfer than it was in your day? Where would you put us?
I don't know. I've got no clue, but I think it's accessible for everyone, whether you're poor or rich.
So you would say it's accessible, huh?
Easy.
When I was a junior, I was a member at a golf club called Skuman Park Golf Club, and I was a small boy, but I was a naughty boy. You know?
You sound like you're still the naughty type.
And the older generation, when I was small, they were very, I want to say, youngsters aren't welcome that time. And I think lately it's become, I think a lot of youngsters that had the opportunity to play, where I think the committee members or someone, like kind of put the older guys aside and said, this guy's got some talent, let's give him a chance. A lot of them made it big time. I mean, playing on the Live Tour and PGA and that. So I think the courses are starting, they started seeing this, and there's, if someone makes it like Vulkuninabe, for instance, he's also from Bloemfontein. He was also at the same golf courses as I was. And, he made it big time. He's a phenomenal golfer. And I think the golf courses are seeing that. So they are, I almost want to say they put out organizations that, kind of look after the guys that can't afford it to play, if I want to put it that way.
Sure,
and,
sure.
The guys that play this game for the fun of it, they got some loot in their pocket. They hardworking men at the office. They want to come out, have a good time. They willing to spend money, and I think the courses that have that in place, I want to say that organizations in place that look after the youngsters that can't maybe afford it to play. And maybe someone wants to play, but his dad doesn't want him to play. The courses, they get him to play and all those kind of things. So I think in a way, yes, it has become dramatically relaxed in the last 20 years, if I can put it that way.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. And the culture, is it still? I spent a bit of time in clubhouses, and they're a lot of them are very strict and pedantic about you can't wear your cap and you have to have a collar, and you have to be dressed in a particular way, and there's just certain etiquettes that you have to pay attention to, otherwise you're not an acceptable member of that community. Is that still the culture, or has it relaxed a little bit? Is it more friendly? Is it more easygoing?
I think it's still the same, but I don't know why.
You would like to see it relax a little bit more. I remember it was a big deal when Tiger Woods played without a collar.
I remember that. He had
was
like short collar.
it was like
I think it.
there was a big debate. The conservatives were like really upset about it. They were like, no, you have to have a collar with buttons. And the modernistas, were like, well, golf has to relax and move on like everything else. So would you like to see it relax more, or do you think it's good that it's that conservative, that it has these rules and this etiquette and this pedantic culture?
I think on the rules and the etiquette, just to stay the same.
It needs to stay the same?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool as that.
I
But
agree.
I don't know why, because I don't know much about golf, but it's good. I play golf, but I don't know much about.
I think
all
it
the
teaches
rules,
you.
but it's good.
It teaches you some sort of what do you call it? Is it etiquette?
Yeah, the etiquette, discipline,
Discipline, that's
Just
it.
to be a gentleman. Man. Just to be-
I think a lot of like solo sports are very pedantic about their rules and etiquette and dress code and whatnot. I think tennis is the same. And I've noticed youngsters that come out of courses or clubhouses that have those rules. They're decent young men. They behave. Well, not every young boy is naughty, but they almost like little gentlemen. They greet you. They take their hat off when they greet you. It's. I think it kind of teaches youngsters coming up a big kind of life loop. In a way of respecting other people and having discipline in respecting people and stuff around you.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just speaking, I think I mentioned Tiger a little bit. He's one of those iconic figures that I think changed the game. He increased the profile. He got a lot more money to come into the sport. A lot more people interested in the sport. Where do you think golf is now? I mean, he still plays, but I mean, I think perhaps his best days. He's not as competitive as he used to be. Well, what do you think the future of golf looks like?
I think Tiger, in his prime, he was mentally, physically, in every aspect of golf, he was so far ahead of everyone around him. And I personally think that's why he kind of dominated the way he dominated. But I think out of nature, once you that caliber person, you go out and help people. You give your secrets away, and you write books, and you put it in books. And I think a lot of players started catching up with it and started applying what he's doing, what he did when he was in his prime. And physically, obviously, he went backwards, but mentally, the shots that guy can play is better than anyone in the world. Still, I think just physically he's a bit behind, and all the other people
Kind of caught up.
They kind of caught up with what he's doing, and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, the producer's jumping up and down, and wants me to wind up. Rob, I'll give you the last word. Are you going to be the next Zimbabwean to win this tournament?
If it happens this year.
This year? Yeah, all the best over the next 2 days.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for doing this, MJ.
Thank you.
All the best as well. Thank you so much for doing this, and cheers.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for having us. Cheers.
Thank you.
I'm here with Matipa. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
And TC,
Cheers, man. Cheers.
who are both professional golfers. Yes.
Correct.
And I understand, Matipa, you traveled all the way from Australia to join us.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. How was your day on the course today?
It was a good walk, I'll tell you that. Struggled. It's not very easy coming home with expectations to do really well. And I succumbed to that, but I did enjoy the walk nevertheless. I enjoyed having home crowds, and yeah, it was just a good experience.
Fantastic. And how did you get into golf, and how did you turn pro? You look like you're hardly old enough to have a beer.
That's true. Very true. If only I could stand up for you, then we can see. Yeah, I actually can't give you an answer. I just decided to whack a ball one of these days when I was about 3 years old. I played cricket.
Oh, you started
for a
at
little
3?
bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, fantastic.
yeah. And then from 15, 16, I just started playing a bit better. And then I decided to just take it to the next level and see how far I go.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this. Mr. TC, I was actually saying earlier that my friend Tinashe, who's a fashionista, will be quite envious. You're looking quite dapper in this branded clothing by TG. You're telling, maybe you can talk a little bit about your clothing.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much for the opportunity. TG is corporate gifts and branding organization. They do all your corporate gifts, your corporate branding, corporate wear, and TG is actually Trump graphics.
Oh, okay.
So it means so they're into corporate wear and corporate gifts.
Fantastic. Because earlier, Tinashe was commenting about the crew. They have these, they've got these crew vests, and so the producer now needs a mandate to get us talent gear at that level. So yeah, we're going to make some inquiries. But otherwise, how was your day out on the course?
Perfect. I felt actually very good. Played nicely the 2 days. Unfortunately, I'm going to make the weekend, but I played really nicely the 2 days. Unfortunately, I had a bad hole yesterday, hole number 10, where I made an 8. And I'm +4 for the event. And that +4 came on one hole, number 10 yesterday. And unfortunately, played nicely today. Nothing was happening. Hit the ball so good. And believe you me, I don't think even the leaders are actually hitting the ball as good as I'm doing. So it's quite not true.
I like the attitude.
So it's actually very disappointing not to have been out there during the weekend. But we'll be here to support the locals who we have met to the weekend. So
Great. And when was the last time, do you know, that a local actually won this tournament?
Yeah, I remember. I can't exactly tell when, but I remember it was Nick Price, I think, when he won. He was world number 1. That's the last time I can actually vividly remember. I remember it was here at Royal Harare. I don't know if anyone after that, but if anything, it could have been him or McNulty, if anything. But it was way back in the days. But otherwise, we have had a few guys who have come up and done very well. Makeyu, myself included in that list.
No, cheers to that.
100%.
Cheers to that. So it's one event that we all, as locals, we really look forward to it. And it's unfortunate that it's just one event in a year. And I think the pressure is just too much for the locals, because you want to do so well, because it's just one event in the year that we all look so forward to. And when you make a mistake, it really hits you hard. And look, the guys that are playing on the tour right now, like your Robson Chinoi, your Promise Umbrero, and the others, they are doing well. And because they do this week in, week out, so the pressure is actually different from us, the locals, because we don't play at that other level, where you're competing at this kind of setup of golf, of the golf course, and the kind of setup golf course itself, and the general setup itself. So it's pressure on its own. So the guys need to get used to this kind of setups, and it helps.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's a challenge to the corporate leaders in our audience, to have a competition, to sponsor a competition of golf in Zimbabwe at this level, to complement the Zim Open. So I take it you live and work in Australia?
Yes, so I'm currently working as a shop attendant at a golf club, and I'm studying finance, and I'm in my last year while I'm
Okay,
trying
fantastic.
to keep up playing as well.
Okay, and what is the golf circuit like over there? So I suspect you don't participate in much of the Sunshine Tour because so what's the exposure like in a place like Australia?
It's pretty good. Everyone's just super supportive. Just everyone is willing to help where they can, especially for young players, because we've got like a very big bunch of young players that are developing through and going on to Asian Tour. Sunshine Tour is obviously a goal of mine because it's closer to home. I can have a golden Pilsner more often.
Fantastic. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a pretty good experience. We have our season from about September on to April, and then we've got a break. We've got Austin Bautista. He's somewhere up in the lead. He's pretty much on the tour as well. So yeah, I'm just learning from all of these guys. TC, big heroes of ours. So yeah, it's just pretty good to learn from everyone.
And as a young Zimbabwean living in the diaspora, a lot of Zimbabweans have actually left our country. Where do you see your future? Do you aspire to come back and live and work in Zimbabwe, or you see yourself in the diaspora for the rest of your life?
I definitely like to see myself at home a little bit more. Not saying there's anything wrong with living here permanently, but I just feel like I can get that little bit more out of myself if I'm elsewhere. But I definitely love to see myself come back more for events like this, other events, and just helping juniors. I just had a great week watching all the juniors this whole week. And last week there was the Zimbabwe Open. I had the chance to go and watch over on Saturday. So I just love to give back as all of these guys have done for us.
Fantastic. And as a professional golfer, I assume you live and work in Zimbabwe.
Correct.
What's it like? Where would you put the state of the game in our country, and what is the outlook?
Look, a lot of strides have been made over the years, and I don't know really, but looking back, from back in the time when we used to play junior golf and amateur golf, we're talking of late 90s into the early 2000s. Yes, the guys are still performing well, yes, but we're still not getting the numbers of the guys that are actually performing at that other level where you can actually say, maybe right now probably you have or two or maximum 5 guys that you can actually say the guys can still go on to play at professional level. Whereupon back in the day, almost everyone was playing at junior level or amateur level, like half or 3/4 of the fields every time. Everyone had the potential to make it to the next level. So yes, as much as there's the development and a lot of resources being pumped into the sport, I still think a lot more could still be done to get guys to push on to get to that, because there's a lot of playfulness, if I can say. When I see juniors, because I'm a member here, I practice and teach here, I see guys when they're practicing there. Yes, the top players, they are there, but their focus is very divided, unfortunately. And these are the guys that you're looking up to say, oh, okay, this is the next generation of our best players. But maybe 1 or 2 guys will break through, but it will have to take that extra something.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
And as a young man who is at the vanguard of the sport, do you think that? So, did you grow up in Zimbabwe?
Yes, that's right.
So, do you think that enough young people have exposure to golf? Is it accessible? Is it, I get the sense that it's, for the most part, an expensive sport. Maybe from a younger age, it's the private school kids that really have the privilege of being able of getting the exposure, and if they're talented, having that talent nurtured. It's am I calling it correctly? Has the universe are things different today? Is it more accessible? Can more young people, if they find it interesting, engage in the sport?
Look, I mean, it is accessible, that's right, but I don't think people are necessarily interested. If we were to host more tournaments like this, where we've got larger crowds, everyone coming down for the weekend to watch a few more times, it would definitely bring interest into the young kids. The young kids that get golf balls, the young kids that watch their favorite players on tour. Even bringing bigger names, I think that's a very big, crucial part into bringing back Zimbabwean golf to what it was. If we just had a few more events, I just feel that would be really good, and it would definitely bring a lot more kids to get into the game.
Okay, that's interesting. And speaking of like the game, like in terms of the, its audience and interest in golf, I think Tiger Woods is an iconic individual that really captured the world's imagination when it comes to this sport. Where do you think the sport is today, now that Tiger is not winning so much?
Look, Tiger was a generational talent, and it's going to take some time to get somebody who would play the game at that level. Yes, we've got the Rory McIlroys, we've got the Scott Schefflers right now, but tell you what, it's not going to ever be the same. So, but again, locally, it's so simple, because you have events of this kind of magnitude. Maybe if you can have 4 of these in a year, right? But it's so easy to draw a local hero, because that's all these kids want. And that's what Matipa mentioned, because it's to get these kids to love the game, they need to see their own. Those
succeed and do incredibly well. Yeah,
those that they can interact with. We have got a lot of kids that come here week in, week out, but they also want to see the same guys winning out there, playing well on those tours. But if we don't have the kind of events like these locally to propel the guys to get to the next level, it's just going to be a pipeline dream, unfortunately. So by the way things are going, it's to me, bluntly speaking, it's more or less like we are not really channeling the resources to where they should be. We should do a little bit more, spread it out. They have 10 of these kind of events where these tents are set, because even the locals that are playing in this kind of events right now, a lot of them, not that they can't play, the guys are just stage fright that's causing them not to perform. Not that the guys can play.
No, I hear you. So normally on our shows, what we're talking about business, we're talking about finance, we're talking about entrepreneurship, we're talking about leadership, and it piqued my interest that you're studying finance. So what got you into finance? I mean right now, when Tinashe, Ranga and I started out, the bankers were the masters of the universe, right? And there was this law around banking and finance. But today, the masters of the universe are the tech bros. Your Zuckerbergs, your Bezoses. That's where the cool kids wanna go into computer science and engineering and all. So what drew you into finance? We'll give you the last word.
So I've got my older cousin. His name's Toto. He also played golf. Very great golfer. Unfortunately, he got a back injury. But he got into the finance industry, and I look up to him for various reasons. But I've always just felt like I've been good with money and numbers.
Okay.
I'm not really your type of literature or teacher. I don't know what to call it, but I've been very good with numbers and how to manipulate numbers. And I'm kind of just honing those skills at the moment. And I don't really want to use finance to do money. I kind of want to manage my own things.
Okay.
Being a golfer, sometimes you can get carried away with getting lots of people helping you out, and it can become a problem at times. So you must also just know what's going on with your funds and your finances and all of that. But yeah, that's mainly been the plan for me, to just try and do my things on my own.
Fantastic. All right, Matipa, thank you so much for doing this. Cheers.
Appreciate it.
And Mr. TC, thank you so much.
My brother. Cheers,
It's been good hanging out with y'all. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode. Cheers. Welcome to another episode of Friday Drinks. We're out here at Royal Golf Club for the Zim Open, courtesy of Golden Pilsner. That's been keeping me refreshed and recharged all afternoon. And we're privileged to have my mentor and friend with us, Mofu. Welcome to the show. I understand you're one of the senior golfers on site, and when I say senior, not by age, but in terms of leadership. And so maybe just let our audience know the nature of your role here at the Zimbabwe Open.
Okay, no, thanks for having me. I'm here by accident, but of course I'm happy to be here. Let's clarify about the mentorship part. Certainly it's got nothing to do with your drinking habits. So let's make that clear. I'm part of the Zimbabwe Open organizing committee. I joined the committee this year, so we are part of what is happening here, and I'm happy to be here, and we're happy to have Golden Pilsner as one of our partners in the sponsorship of the tournament. It takes quite a lot of dollars to pull this thing off. Our title sponsor, FBC, put in a cool $200,000 to make this tournament happen. A lot of that money goes to the prize fund. That's why we're able to attract all these big players from the Sunshine Tour. But it takes more than that to pull the tournament off. So that is the long and short.
What's the prize money?
The prize money this year is 3 million rand. That's the official total prize money. But it takes much more than that to pull the tournament off. There are a lot of indirect costs. It's easily $350,000 to pull off the tournament.
Wow, so congratulations. I think this tournament has been running for several years now, and it's been quite successful, and it's always attracted the top players in the Sunshine Tour. One of the things that interests me about golf is its proximity to the business world. Like a lot of not just business but also political leaders play golf, and so why do you're an avid golfer yourself?
I'm an avid golfer, yeah. Avid, yes, we'll end it there. It takes more than being avid to be one of the top players, but it's a game I love.
So what is so in your words, from your perspective, why does golf attract so many in leadership? Yeah.
One of the big things, you'll be amazed about the life lessons golf teaches you. First of all, it's a very humbling sport. It teaches you a lot of discipline. There's a lot of strategy involved in pulling off a good game of round. You need to have a good strategy going onto the course to pull off a good score. So it's all those attributes, I'm sure, which resonates with a lot of business professionals, how much engaging mentally it is. And obviously, because it attracts like-minded people, you also you're always going to get good business contacts off a golf course. So that's part of the attraction. But it is a very strategic game, some people always think it's about hitting the ball as far as it is, but like they say, the most important distance in golf is in between your eyes. It's your mind. How strategic you are, how understanding you are of your capabilities, and how you are able to put everything together. So from that perspective, I think that's where the attraction for golfers comes from.
Well, thank you
for business people into the sport.
Mofu, thank you so much for correcting my perception.
Yeah.
All along, I thought it was just hitting a ball and then walking after it, and
it is that. But you need to have a
getting away from the wife. But
okay.
See, statements like that you don't have a wife.
And with my wife's full blessings to be here, so it's not an issue for me. Speaking for myself.
What they say is, playing a round of golf, you learn so much about your partner or whoever you're playing with. Do you think that holds water? And what exactly do you learn about your partner, especially when you're paired with somebody that you actually don't know, and then after 3-4 hours of playing with them, you sort of get an idea of their character? Or
very much so. I mean, just how much they conduct themselves. First of all, how much they are respecting to the other players. It's a sport where not so much. Okay, there are rules which you have to follow. Some people will twist the rules here and there, but one of the things in golf, you have to police yourself. There are rules. I mean, if you touch the ball mistakenly and no one sees it, you're supposed to call a shot on yourself. So people who are able to do that, and those obviously who fail to do that, also show you their character in terms of what kind of people they are and what kind of attitude you would expect from those people in a business perspective. So yeah, it is a very strategic game, and etiquette, there's quite a lot of etiquette involved around the sport. People who observe and those who don't observe also show you what you're dealing with. So it is very revealing in terms of your character as a person.
So where are you on the spectrum in the universe of golfers? Because there's the conservatives who tend to be very pedantic about the traditions and the rules, that when you're in the clubhouse, you can't have a cap on or a hat, you have to have a collared shirt. There are all these etiquettes that you have to pay particular attention to. Then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the more progressive, usually younger voices who are saying, look guys, the world has changed. Why are we being so stuffy and stiff? Why can't we, let our hair down a little and relax?
No. Yeah, no.
Where are you in that? On that spectrum,
you have a wrong perception. I mean, the sport is evolving. I know when I started playing almost 20 years ago, it was like that, where you had to have a tie and a jacket in a clubhouse. But now rules are big relaxed. People are trying to make it more accessible and comfortable environment for a lot of people. So a lot of golf clubs, including here, except at certain times in certain places, we can go dressed in any way you want. So it is softening its image, and it's becoming more friendly to a lot of people. I wish it was attracting a lot more young players, especially in Zimbabwe. I don't feel it's attracting enough young players, but world over, it's an increasingly popular sport.
And what is the Zim Open doing to actually attract younger players and to get guys in school to actually participate?
Okay. So the Zim Open is largely a tournament to just showcase the sport and the country at large. The real development side of it is run by the Zimbabwe Golf Association, and as the Zimbabwe Open Committee, we are actually a sub-committee of the Zimbabwe Golf Association, which is largely responsible for the development. But as part of our fundraising efforts, we actually, whatever we raise every year, we always pass it on to our parent organization, the ZGA, towards golf development. But I'm sure, like the young man intimated who was here last year, Matipa, yeah. This game is all about exposure. The more tournaments, being exposed to this kind of environments, that helps you develop the kind of mental strength and attitude required to pull this game off. And we always this tournament, we also always open the tournament to a lot of our top amateurs, so that they can have the experience of playing at the highest level against the best in the world and feel how it is like. So from that perspective, it is a positive for the development of the sport at large.
It's very professionally done. Just walking around, so kudos to that. So when you contrast golf, which is an individual play, compared to cricket, that's actually a team play, a team sport. What do you think are the advantages of golf over cricket? I mean, the etiquette, from an etiquette perspective, they're more or less similar. They both gentleman's sport, one would assume.
Yeah.
But why would somebody play golf instead of cricket, which is actually a team sport, and you learn a lot more from a team sport than an individual player?
So the beauty about golf is the biggest opponent is yourself. You're fighting against yourself, and obviously a golf course, which is how you find it today and tomorrow, is exactly the same. It's about how you approach in terms of tackling it. So it is a sport which is more inward looking, where you fighting against the best of your abilities to be able and do it better than everybody else on the day, so that you are the winner. There is match play where you play against an opponent, but most of the stroke play games you actually playing against yourself and a fixed thing called the golf course, and trying to outdo everybody in terms of playing better on that particular course.
Yeah, you said something that reminded me of this interesting anecdote in the sport. I don't know whether you're familiar with this, Tinashe, but there's this famous major, I don't remember which one it was, where, on the last hole, it was Tiger Woods playing against John Daly, and John Daly had to make a 4-foot putt, which is supposed to be for professional, a cakewalk.
Walk in the park. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
That shows you how much you don't know about the sport. But anyway, go on.
Well, yeah, I'm not a golfer, so I'm very guilty of butchering some of the of butchering this anecdote too. But look, everybody expected him to win that hole.
Yeah.
But he was playing against the great intimidator, Tiger Woods, and he was so nervous. He was so anxious and uptight that he missed that putt. And in the later, Tiger actually said that he felt bad for him.
Yeah. So you know what? At the level these guys play, you see them playing here. They're all good golfers in terms of the technical skill of being able to pull it off. I think personally, it's all about the mental strength. And yeah, true, I agree. Tiger, he beat everybody in between the eyes. Mental strength and attitude and work ethic towards the game. He also made it a very athletic sport. Until he came, people were not didn't believe in working out and everything. But yeah, he was quite a revolutionizer in terms of as far as the game is concerned. But it's all about mental strength. Everyone, like I said, all these pros are very good players in terms of being able to strike the ball, knowing what to do. But it's about delivering the right shot at the right time when it's required, and that takes a lot of mental strength.
Yeah. So to those in our audience who are in business and perhaps are not golfers and have, for whatever reason, decided not to engage in the sport, what would you say as somebody who's in business and an avid golfer? What are the big benefits? Why would you, if you haven't been a golfer all along, but you're in business and you're passionate about business, what advice would you have to that part of our audience? Why would you encourage them to consider seriously taking on the game?
There are lots of benefits. I mean, the most simple one, on an average round, you're walking 15,000 steps. You're a rider. So you know the value of that. Yeah, it's a good exercise. And it's a good, I would say, it's a good way of jogging the mind also, being strategic. Just playing the game strategically and trying to avoid clear hazards, as we call them, or penalty areas, and making sure you're playing it in a safe way. You're knowing when to be aggressive and be defensive. You also need those kind of attitudes in business. And networking, just being around people, hearing what is happening out there. Golf offers quite a good platform to meet different people, different perspectives, understand what's happening.
From a Harare, Zimbabwe perspective, how easy is it to plug in? Because I've got some golfer friends, and these clubs, your Nomads, your Shumbas, and I hear that they're quite exclusive, they're quite elitist, it's quite hard to get in. Is that a myth?
That's a total myth. All these societies have got are very welcoming. Once you start playing, there's so many societies you can sign into, and all of them. The entry rules are everyone has got their own rules, but anyone can join any society they want.
So even Tinashe would accept him.
You would welcome. You would be very welcome. And
I thought the reason you were going to say about playing golf is it's the only sport you can play when you're 80 or 90. You can still actually play until your deathbed. Actually,
that's true. And there's nothing wrong with that. And golfers tend to live longer generally. Actually.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that there was a lot of mental acuity and looking inside and getting that stability. I didn't realize that there was a therapy to it.
No. Okay, look, it can also be a very frustrating sport most of the times. It can give you a punch in, or more often than not, it knocks you down. But you know what? Tomorrow you want to wake up to come back and face the challenge again and hopefully beat it. So it is very mentally stimulating and demanding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think, I was having a chat with the doctor, and he said something that convinced me on why I should actually play golf. And remember, for the last 20 years, nobody has convinced me to play golf, but he convinced me to play golf. And it was a very simple suggestion. Or
about Dr. Makoni?
No, not Dr. Makoni. He's a golfer. I think, I forget his name.
But pass it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just said something very simple, straightforward. He says you've got a golfer's body. You should be able to play golf.
Yeah.
And that's the only compliment I needed.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna pick it up now.
And the perfect golfer's body is just being alive. So anyone can play the sport. Even when you go on tour, the guys come in all shapes and sizes. Some guys you would never believe that they are athletes, but they hit the ball so well, it's unbelievable. So it's anybody's game. There is a myth. I mean, it's just a myth that it's an elitist, it's a difficult sport. No, all it takes is a set of clubs, a starter set to set you back easily $500 and they're going. But
So you've been playing for the last 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And you've also been in business for longer than that. I want to get, to what extent, because a lot of business leaders play golf. And obviously, depending on what we're going through as a country and as an economy, there's a certain vibe in the clubhouse on the 19th hole when things are going great and everybody's feeling flush and bullish, and when things aren't working out and everybody's a bit struggling and a bit uptight for cash, and it's an interesting anecdotal heuristic, the vibe in the clubhouse in the golf universe. What is that like now? And what does it tell us about our economy? Are we, where would you put us?
Oh, I don't know how to answer that question, but anyway.
You spend a lot of time in the 19th hole in clubhouses interacting with guys, right?
All I can tell you is you will get a lot of business intel in a clubhouse on the 19th hole, just sharing ideas with guys, what's happening and everything. So, yeah, it's a good place to just have a barometer. I mean, if you think things are difficult for you, for just yourself, at times, once you go out there and speak to the guys, you realize, it's a bigger problem.
Opportunities out there.
Opportunities and challenges around. So it's just a place where you also just get a vibe of what's happening out there.
Okay.
But along the way, you also get to meet people who does what. I'm here with my one of a good friend. He's a lawyer. Okay, I've known him. He was a banker before, but once I'm here, I just tell him I've got a legal problem. At times, just because we're on the golf course together, I get free legal advice at times. So it's not a bad place to be at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe you can speak to for women's golf in Zimbabwe and how that is going on. How it is.
Okay.
Where are we?
Look, it is. I think more now than before, it's attracting a lot of women into the sport, which is encouraging.
Okay.
All clubs have got, in terms of leadership, we've got a men's captain and a ladies captain. At times, ladies want to run their own things. The platform is there. they allocated their time on the golf course. But a lot of times, in most competitions, it's both men and women playing at the same time. It's attracting more and more women, I think, now than when at the time when I started playing. So I think it's moving in the right direction.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, the producer is jumping up and down, so we have to wind up. Unfortunately, we could go on for hours. We're having such a good time with my mentor and many things.
Except alcohol.
except alcohol.
You know, so
thanks to Nasha for clarifying.
Thank you so much, Mofo, for doing this. We appreciate your time and wisdom.
Okay.
And thank you so much to Golden Pilsner for hosting us and making this happen. And I hope you've enjoyed our chats. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.